Okay guys, welcome back to the final part. This is of Dear Esther. Made myself some tea and toast. Bread and water can be so easily tea and toast. I'm so psyched. I'm stoked. Ooh, this is awesome. Ooh, this is awesome. It's my first Let's Play ever. This is the very beginning of the fourth part. If you watched this far, or if you've watched this at all, thanks so much. This is awesome. I'm stoked that this is actually working. Then I'm gonna have to put those files in probably Movie Maker, which should be fun. Not. A little tent. Old-fashioned tent. We have way more high-tech tents now. This is not a lightweight tent. Couldn't imagine carrying that. Probably weigh like, I don't know, 10 kilograms at most. No, at least.
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
Could you be any more confusing? He doesn't know if he painted all that stuff, or if this Donnelly guy did? What the hell? Who is Donnelly? I think he might have... Who the hell? Ugh! He had like syphilis? Like what the fuck? Is this old-fashioned days? Oh, that's annoying. I thought this guy painted all that stuff because he went insane. Maybe Donnelly liked Esther too, and they're both like, no, I'm gonna paint rocks over here. No, I am. Oh.
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
Alright, so there's like the... I swear that was in another location, though. That like randomly rendered, or like where he was tending to his leg, obviously. So that's a bit morose. Like, yes, we all die. Like shadows and dust. Not like Gladiator stuff, but yeah, a bit bleak. That's annoying. Maybe Donnelly is like an imaginary friend he made up. I don't know. How could he not know if he painted those rocks or if Donnelly did? Whoever the hell Donnelly is. The colors of this reminds me of Zangermarsh in the Burning Crusade Outlands. I love that zone. That was a beautiful zone. A little bit trippy with like those gigantic mushroom building type things, but this reminds me of Zangermarsh. It's where the concept art came from. They played WoW a lot. It's like, let's make a real-life Zangermarsh without the gigantic mushrooms. And just the coloration, kind of a purplish lens. So that's really annoying. He's like, dude, he doesn't even know if he painted that? What an idiot. Ugh. That's looks like probably pseudo-chemistry. Benzene rings. Doesn't look like... Nobody could do stoichiometry with that. So that's where this game ends, that little beacon thing. This is a if you're going to do a rambly Let's Play, this is the game for it. Because I guess this is the best first Let's Play game ever. I mean, if you're doing a first Let's Play, as this is, for me, this is the best game to do the Let's Play for. Oh, a little tine of shrine. Oh, I see. A little shrine of tires. That actually is probably because she died in a car crash. So he's all like, oh, pretend the door and the axle and the wheel is like her body and all this totally tripped out, fucked up stuff. Alright.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
Oh, that's probably Donnelly.
He's been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you can't really trace the connections and join the dots with the plot, pseudo-non-plot, of this game, because it's absolutely insane. That annoys me, because it sounds like you could figure out what happened, and you sort of can, but what I read about this game is that it was deliberately ambiguous. What do we have going on over here? Dead birds. Ugh. A lot of this is like, yes, we all go into sea, we all die. It's like, yeah, I know that. I don't need an entire video game to remind me
I
of
can
that.
see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Okay, so that doubly is annoyingly... Ugh, it's so confusing. Bloody hell! So if he wrote those, he said, okay, he said, I wanted to send those to Esther. He wanted to send those to Esther if he got back to the mainland. So that implies, one, that he was on here when he thought Esther was still alive, but that could have just been delusional. And that he was somehow trapped on this island. They didn't go here voluntarily. Maybe. Or maybe not, though. How did he get here? Why didn't he use a cell phone? Yeah, there's all these weird diagrams. I missed Esther. Somebody picked me up on, like, random Hebrides Island. Brides. Front life has felt good. Oh, isn't that nice? Eggs. Random. Might as well just be anything. Might as well be a rhinoceros foot. Just totally random stuff. This is really beautiful and peaceful, though. So, either he totally forgot that Esther had died, because he said he wanted to send those if he got back to the mainland. Okay, swimming up. Oh, shit. Okay.
Come back.
Shut up. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Whoa. Okay. Probably a little bit of a rendering thing. Alright, so now we're approaching the final little bit of a hike. That's annoying. What the hell? He said he wrote those letters, which he folded into little paper-based boat armada, that he had planned to send to Esther if he got back to mainland. So, was he on here? Why didn't he just send those? He was trapped here. What the fuck happened in this game? It pisses me off. I don't know. I hate games if they're like designed to be like that. It's like, whoever plays this, they're going to be all trying to wonder what happened, and there's no way they'll ever know. I just like that. So, let's see. I don't know. It's all like loony and out of order and fucked up. So it if that was true.
The pain in my leg sent me blind for a few minutes as I struggled up the cliff path. I swallowed another handful of painkillers, and now I feel almost lucid.
Yeah, well.
The island around me has retreated to a hazed distance, whilst the moon appears to have descended into my palm to guide me. I can see a thick black line of infection reaching for my heart from the waistband of my trousers. Through the fugue, it's all the world like the path I have cut from the lowlands towards the aerial.
Fuck all. I liked having at least the certainty that this guy went on this island to mope and whine because Esther died. But then if he wrote those things with the intention of sending them to her, then she couldn't have died. Or let's say he was hallucinating. Let's just say that he would have gone back to the mainland and Esther would have been dead and he would have put them on her tombstone. Or, with a pepperoni pizza or something. No.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a...
That doesn't make any sense.
I will fly to the moon in it.
Doesn't make any sense.
I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet.
Sounds cool, but no sense, no logic.
Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. You can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Not really. So I like the idea of... I hate it when something in the game distorts my reality of what's going on with it. Like, my reality was, this guy went crazy, this chick died, chick's named Esther. And somehow he got all so weirded out, they didn't even know if this other dude Donnelly wrote all this shit on the wall. And then he pretended that she was still alive.
If only Donnelly had experienced
send
this,
those letters.
he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I.
Doesn't make any sense.
Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis.
The fuck?
Retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
This is... okay, I think I'm getting this. That's deliberately designed to be ambiguous. The stones of what? The infection of what? The syphilis? Oh. Now, one thing I thought of at the end of this game, he mentioned that, like, somebody dies in the cliffs, they carve their stuff into the rocks. I don't know. Maybe this guy's dead. Maybe this protagonist here is like a ghost. Maybe. I don't know.
There are headlights reflected in these retinas. Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther. Okay,
so that's like his leg. He's so obsessed with this car crash that Esther is in that the veins on it. See, I'm a person who likes to understand things, okay? That is just to me. Wow, that is beautiful. Wow, nice huge moon, full moon. And so the veins on his, like, bloody, should be probably dismembered leg remind him of, like, the M5 where she died or something. And the one thing that made me really very, very vexed was that he said that if he ever got back to mainland, he would send those to her. But that implies that, one, he's hallucinating.
A gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking with our children, old Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
I think Paul was a butler and a driver. Donnelly was a friend. Esther was a wife of this bloke, and this guy somehow ended up on this island. It pisses me off they don't explain that. It also pisses me off that he said he would send those letters to her if he got back to mainland. I remember being on an island and writing a letter to a chick. Yeah, it's true. But I put it on her fucking doorstop. Her fucking door. I actually sent it. I didn't paint on... Well, actually I doodled a little bit in some notebooks. I didn't have to tend to a leg and I didn't blur reality with whatever. It's kind of weird that after all this scenic, natural nature, wilderness beauty, at the end of the game is this clunky piece of shit. Well, not a clunky piece of shit, but something
I have run out of places to climb.
Maybe that's a metaphor.
I will abandon this body and take to the air.
So now what you're beginning to realize that this game is slightly a bit about...
Dear Esther,
right,
I have burned
this guy
the
killing
chips of
himself.
Damascus.
Fucked up.
I have drunk deep of it. My heart is my leg and a black line etched on the paper all along this boat without a
Doesn't make any sense.
You are all the world like a nest to me. Eggs unbroken form like fossils, come together, send small black flowers to the air. From this infection, hope. From this island, flight. From this grief, love. All
right. This is all automated, but this part is automated. It's just like the last cutscene, I guess. Maybe that symbolizes that, like, she died in a car crash and that, like, something, like, clunky in non-nature, so this is, like, something clunky in non-nature at the end? I don't know. Be nice to have a parachute. Probably a cool place to skydive. With a parachute. Only with a parachute. Now, so you can see on, like, the drawings there, it looks like a dead body sketch thing is what he mentioned. So it made me think, like, maybe he already died, or... In this part, right here... Yeah, that makes you think... What, is he like a bird, or he turns into a bird, or that was a way... That's like a euphemism for his death instead of seeing like a splat? I don't know. Probably all of those, or some of those. So, as far as I can tell, it seems like this whole game is like some guy who never moved on from somebody who died in a car crash. Maybe that could have been an hallucination if he would have been able to send those to her, but he couldn't if she was dead. So I really dislike... That's the one part I really dislike. It's not to say that that was hallucination, or that he was hallucinating that she died. One of those two things. Good. A light from the... So I think that's a viable conclusion. Or at least a logical idea, that those little armada ships, he hallucinated that she died, and he could really send them to her, or he hallucinated that she didn't die, and therefore he couldn't send those to her. Whatever. Alright. Come back, come back. It's kind of creepy. There we go. That's the end of the game. Now that's it. There's nothing else after this. You have to exit to the menu. I checked the forums to make sure it wasn't a glitch or a bug, and this is, I guess there's no credits that roll, none of that. There's just the sound. Actually, there still is the sound of the place. So, thanks for watching my first Let's Play ever. It was the most ideal game to do a Let's Play, because you just use mouse and you don't have to worry about missing keys to a door or something, and being not as good in killing a mob or something. But yeah, thanks a ton for watching this. I enjoyed making this Let's Play. And one little thought is, the guy who said he always said come back when the person was like drowning or sinking in the water. But is he saying come back to Esther? I don't know. So maybe so part of me makes me think that, like, some of this was on the island was hallucination. Like, some of those caves were pretty trippy, you know? And he thought about sending those letters to Esther if he got back to the mainland. It highly vexes me that they don't explain how he got there, if it was voluntary, if it was a shipwreck, if people, like, helicoptered him there, and it's like, okay, see ya. I don't know. That's annoying. Oh, the ambiguity of it is highly vexing. Oh, yeah. But I think it's safe to say that he kind of hallucinated, forgot that Esther was dead, so there's no way he could have sent those letters. And that was towards the end of the game, so it seems sort of significant, you know? And the whole game is called Dear Esther, so those little Armada ship letters seem fairly important. Or he hallucinated that she died and she couldn't really send them. Or maybe what he meant by sending them to her was like putting them on her tombstone. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, a bit bleak, but outside of the bleakness, it's kind of very beautiful. Like, if you turn off the audio dialogue, which you can't, and just like the sounds of the nature stuff, it's pretty cool. But still, it's a cool game. Anyways, awesome stuff. Thanks again for watching. Ooh, awesome, sweet.